Hello and welcome to the journey with Ammar Sheikh, where we explore stories of achievers, believers, change makers, and dreamers. Every person's journey is a story, some told, some untold. Today we are going to unfold one of those, keeping it raw, real, and inspiring. Some people don't just build careers, they build culture, community, and lasting impact. We have today Mr. Junaid Zuberi, a cultural leader and a community activist. Mr. Junaid Zuberi, a non-profit executive and an arts advocate who has spent decades bridging South Asia and Canada through culture and impact. From leading the National Academy of Performing Arts, also known as NAPA, where he doubled funding, expanded programs, and launched Pakistan's first Women's Performing Arts Festival, to building communities in Canada through Sur Sangam Foundation and leading roles across major cultural platforms. His work goes beyond arts into identity, connection, and purpose. And through his work with Indus Hospital Network, he's helping bring life-changing healthcare to millions. He is a builder, a connector, and a storyteller. Please join me welcoming Mr. Junaid Zuberi. Assalamu alaikum and welcome, Junaid Saab, on the show.
Wa alaikum assalam, Ammar. Thank you so much for this very gracious and generous introduction.
Absolutely. I was just skeptical, maybe you like it or not, but I just tried my best.
Very kind of you.
Absolutely, it's an honor to have you today on the studios. Thank you for taking time out. And you, as you're aware of the format of the show, is a small token of appreciation from myself and the channel to celebrate you as being you. It's about the community leaders or the contributors of the society. We're day to day we don't talk about them, but you are the real hero. And the contribution you do, be it with the Indus Hospital or otherwise as well, being with NAPA itself, it's such a great, tall thing to have. So, sir, the format is pretty simple. We talk about your background, what you're doing currently, and then we'll move it forward towards your philanthropy or the other side of the curvature. So, tell us about yourself. What's your background like, and where you're beginning from?
Well, my journey began, as I always say, many blue moons ago in Karachi, in a world that was very different from the one that we live in now. In an average middle-class family, educated family. I'm very proud of my roots, my heritage. My ancestors migrated from India to Karachi, and that's where I was born. Had all my education in Karachi, a school I'm very fond of, Habib Public School. And then I went on to do my MBA from Institute of Business Administration, IBA Karachi, one of the most prestigious business schools in Pakistan. And after that, as it happens with all of us business graduates, once we come out of the school, we go towards the corporate world or the financial world. So I took the same route, and I went into financial services and built my career over there. Worked in different companies. Most of my career in Pakistan was with a Japanese company called Oryx. But that apart, I was always very deeply interested into the arts. And back then, I just didn't know how to channelize that interest and how to take it forward, because in those days, perhaps we did not really have a lot of options when it comes to studying the arts or making a career into that. We were more on the traditional side of the careers, whether it was medicine or accounting or engineering and so on. But as I came into the practical life, I think God has been very kind. He somehow navigated me to a path where I followed my passion to an extent that I got involved and engaged with different organizations, initiatives in Karachi in the field of arts, specifically in performing arts. So there were different groups, different initiatives that were supporting classical music, classical arts, theater, etc., as our cultural heritage. And I became part of them as a volunteer. And that gave me a lot of exposure and allowed me to sort of look within and identify myself and discover myself in ways that I didn't know about, to be honest. And it was around that time when I was exploring myself and I was really getting immersed in the world of arts in Karachi that I migrated to Canada in 2013 with my family. And over here, once we came, and the reason for us to migrate was not the traditional, typical reason for a family. Everybody says that, we go abroad or we migrate for better future, which is fine, everybody does that, or we go for our children, which is fine, everybody does that. But in our case, it was one step ahead. We really wanted to sort of challenge ourselves and to experience life differently. And we felt that, if we continue living in one place, we'll only be able to experience so much because, if you want, our set of experiences would be very similar and they won't really change. We wanted to explore the world. We wanted to live differently. And to do that, we thought that relocating perhaps and living in another world altogether perhaps would be a new and a different experience. We were adventurous in that sense. So left our jobs, I and my wife, we left our jobs in Karachi and came to Canada in 2013. Not knowing a lot of people over here, never been to this part of the world before. And then, as it happens with all the new immigrants, we tried to establish ourselves in our own fields. I carried on in the financial services and my wife continued. She's been in the non-profit sector all her life, so she continued in that realm. And alongside that, I decided to pursue my passion, to continue with my passion in the arts and culture. And I thought that instead of just sitting and waiting and seeing what I can do over here, why not build something from scratch? And that's what gave Sur Sangam its birth. I decided to organize and formalize this group initially with the idea of promoting South Asian music and literature initially in the community, and then organically growing and developing it. I always wanted to bring different forms of arts in Sur Sangam. So I continued doing that, and we put together a lot of performances between 2015 and 2020, and then pandemic hit us, as you know, in 2020. And soon after, there was a need for me to go back to Pakistan. My parents were there, and there was a need to be with them in that very specific situation of the lockdown and the new world order after pandemic. So I moved to Karachi. My family stayed on in Canada. And while in Karachi, I didn't know how long I'm going to be there for because the situation was very different with the pandemic. And it so happened that, I always say that God has been extremely, extremely kind to me. I landed this opportunity with NAPA, National Academy of Performing Arts, which is Pakistan's perhaps only state-funded conservatory of performing arts. Yeah. And it was headed by the iconic Zia Mohyeddin Sahab, a huge big name in the world of arts, theatre. And Zia Sahab was the founding president and CEO of NAPA. And when he retired, the board of directors went out to hire a successor as a CEO. And I happened to get that role, which I feel is the high point of my career, my professional life, and even my personal life in many ways. Serving an institution like NAPA, succeeding somebody as legendary as Zia Mohyeddin Sahab, learning a lot from him and from other leaders over there, and then being able to work in a position where I could serve the artists and the community. I think that was like a dream come true for me. So I worked there for a little over 3 years, signed a contract with them. And because my family was here in Toronto, so I moved back after completing my contract, even though the institution really wanted me to continue and to serve another term. But I couldn't because I had to be back to my family. So I came here last year in 2025, and after coming back and settling down, I got an opportunity to consult with Indus Hospital in North America. So wherever globally we have the Pakistani community, the diaspora community in different parts of the world, Indus has its chapters where it reaches out to the community, raise funds for the hospital in Pakistan. So they have a charity in Canada, and they have one in US. So I'm consulting with both of them, helping them with their fundraising efforts, with their community mobilization, etc. So for the past about 6 to 8 months, I've been associated with Indus, and alongside that, when I came back, I reactivated and re-energized Sur Sangam also. So currently, this is what's happening.
Okay, excellent. No, thank you so much for you just gave a snapshot of all your journey. Yes. Thank you so much. Yes, so any particular early challenges you remember or recall from your childhood or your early days? I'm just bringing you back to your early days.
Well, challenges, I guess, perhaps were more linked to what I wanted to do in life. You know, when for a child who's growing up in Pakistan back in the 80s with not much of an exposure around it, the options were very limited.
Right.
And somewhere deep inside, perhaps I had that passion for the arts, which I just didn't know, as I mentioned earlier, how to channelize that interest and what to do with that. It was not that, you know, I didn't come from a family that had that passion for the arts to that extent, but I don't know how I got that and where I got that from. But music was always my calling. I was always into music. I couldn't learn. I wanted to, but I couldn't. I didn't get the opportunity, or the circumstances were not suitable. And then, you know, a time came when I thought that if I couldn't learn myself, then perhaps I'll do the next best thing, is to support
platform
and to bring the artists and the audience on one platform. And if it's something that I enjoy, I want other people to come and enjoy that as well. And maybe I can play a little role over there. So, you know, but those were the feelings that came, and those were the opportunities that came much later in life. But earlier on, of course, I mean, I didn't know really what exactly and how exactly I want to shape up my life, and how to bring a balance between my interest and, of course, my profession.
Sure.
God, as I said, has been very kind that, you know, I got this opportunity during pandemic that my passion became my profession. You know, it doesn't happen in a lot of cases.
True.
But I tasted and I had a flavor of that as well. So yes, it's been a wonderful journey, an exciting journey, I should say.
Great. Any turning point or breakthrough that changed everything? Maybe something to do with your careers?
Yeah, I think, again, you know, if I look at the arts side of my life, the turning point came in the year 2000, when I got an opportunity to meet with somebody who I call my mentor in music, this lady in Karachi. Her name is Safia Beg, and we call her Safia Appa. She used to run a small little, you can call it a club of sorts, of classical music. She was deeply passionate about Eastern classical music, was a vocalist herself, and her whole mission was to promote classical music as our cultural and artistic heritage.
Right.
Because this is what we identify ourselves with as our heritage and our musical sort of legacy and roots. So I got associated with her and with her club, and that's where I got the exposure to a lot of artists. We used to invite artists from Pakistan and India both. back in the day. And I got an exposure to classical music. I actually got the exposure to discover myself. I got the opportunity to discover myself and to sort of nurture my passion and take it to a level that later on took me to Sursangam and took me to Napa and so on. And so the beginning of all that, the seed was planted in the year 2000 by Saframba,
great.
And that's how it all began.
Excellent. I'll request you to stay in your memories and stuff. I'll bring those back.
Sure.
We are exploring Mr. Junaid Zuberi about his early days, how his passion versus his numbered life, the finance life was coming around. We'll explore more on that after a short little break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back from the break. As I mentioned, we're exploring more of Mr. Junaid Zuberi, how he did his early life, and he flew from Karachi to explore more of the opportunities which were waiting for his true calling. And he had to call Canada his home along with his family. How are you, sir?
Great, thank you.
Again, thank you so much for sharing your wonderful thoughts about yourself. And we are moving on to the second segment, which is talking about the current life and the achievements you have so far. So what do you consider as your proudest achievement so far?
Well, you see, my stint at Napa, I would say, and building an institution, revitalizing and bringing energy into the institution, I feel extremely gratified, satisfied with that, and I think the legacy that was left behind, even though I had huge big shoes to fill. You know, Zia Muhyiddin Sahab, of course, was an icon and somebody we all learned a lot from. So for me, the turning point was to succeed him, but then more importantly, the responsibility that came with it to take that legacy forward and to leave a mark was no small feat. And I feel, the kind of feedback that I always received from my seniors, my contemporaries, my community in Karachi has been extremely gratifying for me. So I think that was an achievement that I'll always take pride in. And now in my current position where I'm consulting with Indus Hospital, I feel that again equally gratifying, because Indus is a story that needs to be told and retold many times over. I've seen that hospital build and grow in Karachi, as I'm Karachi wala myself. So I've seen Indus Hospital grow and expand, and working for it feels like, it doesn't feel like charity, it feels like service. It's like God has given you the opportunity to serve in some capacity or the other. So the fact that I'm a very small little part of the whole big story of Indus is extremely rewarding.
Excellent. No? Thank you so much on that. Sir, what inspires you and keeps you motivated?
Well, I'm a people's person, I think. So I love meeting people. I love to hear their stories, to hear their journeys. And that inspires me a lot, how people navigated their paths, navigated their journey. How did they make those little achievements, they achieved those little milestones from point zero to where they stand today. Those stories are extremely inspiring. Stories of common people.
Right.
You see, I always believe that excellence can be found just anywhere.
True.
It's not only found in huge, big institutions, academic institutions. It can be found anywhere on the street even.
Absolutely. No,
you just
I completely
have to connect with the people.
Absolutely can second that, and that's how this platform is about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of inspiration from people that I meet,
right,
and people that I interact with. young
Excellent.
people, children, adults.
No, of
everybody.
course, of course. Yes, the integral, most important part of this show is about not just about your personal achievements and about your work-related stuff. My idea is to showcase more of how that particular person or the contributor of the society is giving back to their people. So if you can highlight something, I know you're associated with Indus, but any other projects you're working on, or even within this, if you want to say.
Indus is one thing that I'm associated with. Indus is, of course, what keeps me busy these days mostly, and something I'm deeply passionate about. And it's of course a huge, big way of contributing to a cause that is very, very dear to our hearts.
Indeed. Yeah.
But other than that, my work, that whatever little that I'm doing in the field of arts and culture, that again has that sensibility of giving back in some form or the other. So when I started my collective, artist collective over here, Sur Sangam, my idea was to bring our culture, our music, our poetry, our literature, to this audience over here, so that we can showcase a positive face of Pakistan.
Right.
And to showcase to the audience that, we are not what you read in the papers, we are not what you see in the media. There's a rich cultural side of Pakistan. Our language, our poetry, our music, our dances, our theater, our stories. There's a lot that needs to be explored. There's a lot that needs to be seen. There's a lot that needs to be appreciated, and the diversity of it. You see the diversity of culture that we have within Pakistan that we celebrate. So I wanted to bring all of that in Sur Sangam and through Sur Sangam to the audience. And I feel that is something that gives me a lot of satisfaction. And that sense of giving back, as you mentioned, that element is always there.
Perfect. No, that is wonderful. And you're also participating in Mosaic and the other music.
I always support Mosaic and all other such festivals. I'm a huge, big fan of Mosaic Festival. And I think I look up to Arshad Saab and Asma Mahmood. What they've built from the scratch and where they've taken Mosaic is very, very inspiring for somebody like me. So definitely, we are supporters of Mosaic.
100%. I'll keep you on the lighter note. What one advice would you give to your younger self?
To my younger self, well, don't lose your confidence. Just be confident. Don't just follow what everybody is doing. Follow your own path and follow your heart.
Right.
That's what I'll tell my younger self. Just follow your heart.
Great. And how would you like to be remembered?
I just want to be remembered for the work that I perhaps did. I tried with all my honesty, with all my sincerity, and I think that's how I'd like to be remembered. That I was somebody who was honest and who tried.
Right.
Who just tried. Whether I was successful or not, I cannot say, but at least I made an attempt. And I think we all need to rise above. We all need to step up. I always feel that, we are not sent to this world to get up in the morning and do a 9-to-5 job, come back and sleep. No.
True.
There's a bigger purpose. And I always tell the younger people that you must follow your passion. You must have something that you follow outside your routine work, education, study, business, job, whatever that you're doing. But you have to have a passion, you have to have a purpose. And when you follow that and when you do something in that direction, that gives you the real gratification, and that is the legacy you leave behind.
Beautiful. No, I
Nobody
think that's
remembers, if I'm, for example, if I'm a banker, nobody would remember me as a banker.
Right.
But if I'm doing something, a bigger purpose, I'm working for a charity, I'm working in the field of arts, that is something that people will
So the
will
impact you
remember.
create, basically,
The impact you create, the lives you touch.
True.
That
true.
is what matters.
No, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much, Junaid Saab, on that. One last one before I request you for a message for the audiences. One word about yourself. Like, how would you summarize Junaid Zuberi in one word? Or maybe one line about yourself.
Somebody who believes in equality, equity, and a society free of all discrimination. That's all.
Wow, that is so thoughtful. Thank you so much for that. Any particular message you want to share with my viewers on this camera, please?
Well, I would just say that don't wait for validation from others. Do what your heart says. Don't wait for permissions. Don't wait for validation. Do what you feel is right. And as I said earlier, have a bigger purpose in life. And that bigger purpose has to be linked to serving others. We don't live just for ourselves. We live in a society to serve others, to be of use to other people, to the society. We have to be an asset to the society we're living in, not a liability. So become that asset.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Insaf, for your wonderful words. And thank you for being on the show. I got to know more about you, and I'm sure the audiences will enjoy after watching the video as well.
Thank you so much for the invitation. Thank you for allowing me to share my story and share my thoughts with you.
Thank you so much for being with us. What a powerful conversation, from talking about passion to purpose. Today reminded us that success isn't just what you achieve. It's what you preserve, what you build, and who you put in. And about uplifting others. You cannot just walk on the road alone. You have to take the people along. And that's what rightfully Mr. Junaid said. He's the people's person. And that was his true calling, to be with the people, for the people, and by the people. Mr. Junaid also showed us that when purpose meets passion, you don't just create impact, you create legacy. Thank you, Mr. Junaid, for being on the show. And for you, keep building, keep connecting, keep believing in yourself, as our esteemed guest has mentioned, and don't lose your confidence. And start honoring your own journey, because the journey is not over yet. This is your host, Ammar Sheikh, and you are watching The Journey.